Good morning, good morning, good morning. My name is Erica LaShawn, and thanks for stopping by. Today is September 2nd, 2022. It's 8:43 a.m. Um, so thanks for stopping by. Please like, share, and subscribe. Once again, my name is Erica LaShawn, and if you're new here, welcome. Thank you. If you're not new here, welcome. Thank you. Today is going to be a great day because I said so. And that's really, you just have to decide. So I think I'm going to scoot to the grocery store a little later because Labor Day is on Monday. So I might, want to cook a little something for the holiday. So today's topic is filicide. As I said in my first video, I want to talk about a lot of different things. And one area that I'm interested in is murder, mayhem, serial killing, things of that nature, like a little dark side. And I'm interested in that because I'm fascinated by it because I can't understand it. And I have a thirst for knowledge. I want to know things. And I just cannot wrap my mind around things of that nature. So I don't know, it's just something. So filicide. Um, it's the deliberate act of a parent killing their own child. So someone might say, "Well, what would make you think that?" I don't know. That's the answer. Don't know, and it happens a lot. And there are people like me that want to know things of this nature. I don't know. So let's back it up a little bit. Okay, so back to this question. Why would you even talk about something like this? Well, psychology, I studied psychology in my undergrad. My undergrad was social work. So I've always been so intrigued with the human mind development, why we do what we do. So that's always been a interest of mine. And then it's like it goes to the why. I'm always into the why. I'm like, why? So there are five different reasons why people kill their children. Cuz that's like the most that's like I don't know. I really don't. I really don't. And that's why I sit here and look at stuff like this because I'm like, what the heck? And then forensic psychologist, I almost went to grad school for forensic psychology, but So anyway, there are five different reasons why people kill their children. Oh, so let me just put this disclaimer out because I don't want to trigger anybody. So I'm about to just get into some facts and issues, and if you're triggered by any of this, please turn turn it off now because I'm not here to trigger anybody or uh, hurt anyone or make anyone feel uh, uncomfortable. But if you're interested in stuff like this, like I am, let's go. So there are five different reasons, really, why people kill their children. Why I know this? Hey, I just do. Um, First, it's not in any category, but the first one, just plain mental illness, mental illness. Like psychosis. It just goes into the arena of my children are demons, and I'm here to save them. Basically, just a break in reality. So it could be anything. It could be, I'm going and I'm going to save my kids and save me too and stuff like that. All right. A second reason, altruism. Altruism is, because I had to look it up. I knew what it was, but I like to be kind of thorough. Altruism is kind of like a pride thing. Let me see. I got Wikipedia on standby. It's kind of like a pride thing. They want to go, but they don't want anyone else to take the burden of their family, their children, their responsibilities, and things of that nature. I just had it. So, that's a form of altruism. 3, abuse and neglect, period. I stated before, I'm in that field of child welfare, and we see it all the time. We have fatalities all the time. And so this reason of abuse and neglect, a lot of times parents abuse their children or neglect them to the point where the child dies. So I don't want to mince words or whatever, but what I'm trying to say is they don't mean to kill their kid. They just kind of do accidentally. Or is it? And that leads me I'm going to go right into Michelle Blair. This woman, she's from Detroit, Michigan, my hometown. And I sat up and watched this whole trial. So I am, I'm that type of person. I enjoy, like, just especially with YouTube. It's so easy to get into different type of worlds at your fingertips in bed in your pajamas. It's like the best thing ever. But I stumbled upon Michelle Blair. It's like Mitchell, I'm assuming. Mitchelle Blair, Blair. It looks like Mitchell, but the Michelle Blair. So she comes out of Detroit, and they pinned her with the name Freezer Mom because she apparently kept 2 of her children in a freezer for like 2 years. Now, I had more than this. Where did that go? Where did it go? I'm going to just wing it. So Michelle Blair, I sat up and watched her whole trial. It was like 4 hours long. So shout out to people who do stuff like that, because people like me are here for it. We are here for it. It was like part 1, part 2, part 3. It was 3 different chunks of her trial. And I sat and watched the whole thing like I was in the watching in the crowd or whatever. But this mom basically, I don't have I'm not about to. I'm gonna go off the cuff because I followed this trial, but basically I've never seen a person on trial stand in front of a judge and say, yes, I did it and I'll do it again. Like for real. She was straight up standing there like, yeah, I did it and I will do it again. She did not refer to her children. She had 3. The oldest 2 were in the freezer, and then there's a young survivor out there somewhere. But she didn't refer to her children as her children. She referred to them as demons, and she said that's just the way it is. And if I had to do it all over again, I would. So basically, in a nutshell, with this particular trial with Michelle Blair, the youngest son, she has 3. The youngest son was telling mom, Michelle, that his older 2 siblings were molesting him and doing things to them. So Michelle Blair took it upon herself to fix the problem. And they went into detail. She went into detail. And the little one would come to her and say, Mommy, one of the children's names, her name was Stony. And it just stuck with me because that's like a, uncommon name. I can't remember the boy's name. I didn't try to remember. See, that's the thing. When I'm into stuff like this, I really don't want to remember certain parts of it. But Stony, for a little black girl in Detroit, that sticks to me because I'm like, oh, okay, it's kind of cool. Anyway, the youngest was saying that the daughter, Stony, would take her menstrual napkins or pads, rub it in his face. He said, "Mommy, it stinks." Then he said one time his older brother um, was humping on his butt like a basketball. This comes from the mom. This is the mom in court testifying as to what her youngest told her. And then he put some blue stuff in my made me drink blue stuff. And then something or other of that nature. So the mother in court, Michelle Blair, she straight up said that her oldest two that she put in the freezer, she described what she did, how she did it, why she did it, and so forth. So with the girl, Stony, she said that she just she began to not give her food. So she said she started with that. And I think she said she would only give her oatmeal or whatever. So she said she started to do that. And she made her stay in her room and she wouldn't feed her. And then she said sometimes the other kids she would catch the other two kind of trying to sneak food. Or was the oldest boy? I'm not sure because I don't have it in front of me. One of the children, she started with the food. And then she said that she would kind of catch the other kids trying to sneak food, to their sibling. But so she started with the food. And then back to Stony, she started with the hitting and the beating. And she just basically said she just kept on beating her. She said she just kept on going and kept on going. And that was that. So she put her in the freezer because it was a deep freeze. I saw pictures of it at some point. It was a deep freezer like this, the white square. It can sit right in your kitchen in the corner. It could be in the basement, whatever. It was a deep freezer. This deep freezer was right in the kitchen with every other appliance. So so she put Stony in the freezer because she said she didn't really know how to go about this, what she did, okay. Then she said she went in on the oldest boy and she said she would physically torture him. And the judge was asking all the questions, saying, well, what did you do? And she said she started off with she stripped him and naked and put him in the shower with hot water. So she was burning him like that, scolding him like that. Then she said that she was scolding his genitals on purpose because she said that if that's what he want to do, if that's what he want to use to violate. And she focused so much on the smaller child. So she kept saying, if that's how you want to treat my baby, that's what you want to do, I'm going to do it to you. So she was like hurting the genital area. Then she said she made him drink blue stuff. The blue stuff was it's not Drano. What was the blue stuff? Windex. I think it was Windex. I'm just going off memory. It was blue, and it wasn't as toxic and fatal. It was something. It was blue. So she made him drink. I think it was Windex. It wasn't anything like antifreeze or anything like that. I think antifreeze is like green or yellow or something, or maybe blue. I don't know. So she made him drink blue stuff, and then she explained how she just kind of beat him to the point where he just couldn't. She said he was losing consciousness. He wouldn't stay up. She kept trying to wake him up because she said then she knew, this is what I heard her say, she knew that he was on the edge. So she said that she was trying to keep him up, wake him up, hold on, things of that nature. And he apparently died of his injuries, basically. And she put him in the freezer because at this point she said she didn't know what to do. And then she said she turned to the youngest and asked him, mommy may have to go. Mommy did something. I may have to go away. And she said in court that the young boy said, please don't go. Please don't go. And she said that was the deciding factor for her. So she kept the kids in the freezer for like a year or two because she didn't want to, she couldn't make that last decision to leave the youngest one. And that was it. And she kept them there. And then at one point it was reported that she called children's services in Detroit or child welfare or the police. She called someone for help asking, what do I do? I'm having some issues. And they explained to her, well, we gotta, we have to look into it or whatever. So she said after they told her we have to look into it and see what the problem is, she knew the kids were in the freezer, so she kept them there. She kept them there. And I saw pictures of the kitchen. It was like, when your kid draws something for you or they make a project and you stick it on the refrigerator. The deep freezer had stuff stuck on it from the children's artwork or whatever. It was just like that. And then the person writing the article was saying, you could imagine the youngest living in that house like that, knowing that his siblings are in that freezer and they just going about their way. But the mother, she testified that when she was growing up, her mother's friend that lived down the street, her mother had a girlfriend that lived down the street, a friend that used to molest her. And she said that she told her mother about it. Her mother did not believe her, didn't do anything about it, and it damaged her. And she said she told herself, if my children ever come to me with something like that, I will handle it. Basically, in so many words. That's just me talking. And apparently, the youngest said that it happened, and the mom said, "Okay, I'll handle it," and she handled it. So you have the trial, and then you have a whole other post. Other people posting different snippets and stuff like that. So I was able to see stuff like, the trial, the arraignment, the sentencing, it just bounced back and forth or whatever. But the Michelle Blair was in court wilding. Like, I think one of the fathers came to court. Maybe both of them came. I don't know. But she addressed one of them right in the courtroom. She was like, you was never there. I don't know why. Why are you here now? She was yelling at him. She was kind of unraveling or whatever. Okay, back to Filicide. So, okay, back to the list. Okay, Michelle Blair. I might get back if something crosses my mind. But she's in jail. My other, where are they now? I had because there's another child that was always with the father. So it was a where are they now with the youngest. And then I think there was an oldest that was really not there anyway. Okay, moving forward. Abuse and neglect. So that was like number 3. Why parents kill their kids. Sometimes they do it because they want to do it. Sometimes they are abusing them. And it's like, oh my God, I killed her. I killed him. The 4th one, point blank, they don't want them. It sounds harsh, I know. That's a reason. They don't want them. Okay. And 5, spousal revenge. Or a partner So those are the reasons. Just straight up revenge. I'm mad at you. You left me. Oh yeah? You love this baby so much? You love this baby more than me? I'll show you that. Okay. So there was a video I previously did talking about something. Annihilation. I was going into annihilation, and I kind of brushed on how people kill their families. And I said I will follow up on it. So that's what I'm doing. And I couldn't remember the guy's name. Chris Watts. That's his name. If you go on Netflix, it's called The Family Next Door. Very well put together piece. So Chris Watts comes behind, in my mind, Scott Peterson. I spoke about Scott Peterson. And he, annihilated his family on Christmas Eve. His wife and unborn child. Okay, so stuff like that. So these two, I don't think they fall into spousal revenge or where annihilation falls with the 5 reasons. From what I gather, a lot of times, they just don't want the family that they thought they wanted, and they kind of wipe it out. There's always some mistress involved. So Chris Watts, his 2 young girls, and his wife, and his pregnant wife with a boy. Okay, so filicide. So I never got down to the meat and potatoes. So, okay, it's the deliberate act of a parent killing their own child. The word filicide is derived from the Latin words filius, F-I-L-I-U-S, and filia, F-I-L-I-A, son and daughter. So it's the suffix side, C-I-D-E, meaning to kill, murder, or cause death. The word can refer both to the crime and to the predator of the crime. So, statistics. A 1999 U.S. Department of Justice study concluded that mothers were responsible for a higher share of children killed during infancy between 1976 and 1997 in the U.S., while fathers were more likely to have been responsible for the murders of children aged 8 and older. Parents were responsible for 61% of child murders under the age of 5. Sometimes there is a combination of murder and suicide in filicide cases. On average, according to FBI statistics, 450 children are murdered by their parents each year in the U.S. So, back to the spousal revenge piece. It just popped in my mind when I was in high school. I think we were freshmen in college at this point, but I went to Oak Park High School, so we weren't there at the time. We had all moved on and gone on our way. However, if you're from a community, you know people. They know your kids, parents know parents, you kind of know each other, or maybe you don't, but it all depends on the whatever. Your kids, your kids know your kids, and the parents know the parents sometimes. Not really, maybe. Anyway, so one of my friends, childhood friends, she was like, girl, it was on the news and everything. She was like, that's down the street from me. I was already up in college at this point, living on campus, I believe. Yeah. So I'm getting news from the grapevine. So my friend at home was like, it happened down the street. I'm like, what? So apparently a young lady that went to our high school, Oak Park High School in Oak Park, Michigan, she was missing for, I can't remember how long, but they found her body in the van that was parked in the driveway of the home. The home that she shared with her mother. Now there's I don't know if he was a step parent or a parent substitute. That's what we call it in my line of work. Boyfriend, paramour, whatever, live-in boyfriend, whatever name, whatever. it came out, an investigation was done, and it came out that the mother's boyfriend or significant other, was the one that uh, he sexually assaulted the young lady, and he murdered her, and she was in the van the whole time in the driveway. And the mother released a statement saying something like, and this was years ago, something like, he said something, the boyfriend said something to her like, yeah, I'm going to put something on you that you will never get over. Now, if you hear something like that, you thinking like, okay, what you talking about? You never know. You never know. Okay, so back to the topic. Munchausen syndrome. I've always been interested in that. I think this would fall in the abuse neglect category. So Munchausen syndrome, basically, it's just, and I didn't go to Wikipedia for this because, okay. Basically, it's a psychological disorder marked by attention-seeking behavior by a caregiver through those who are in their care. So I'm talking about Munchausen syndrome because a lot of times children die because of this, and I don't know if it falls where, I would say abuse and neglect, because there could be some mental illness involved, which makes a person think that this is the right thing to do. Altruism could be put in place. Like, I'm not sure. Abuse and neglect, I'm going with that. They don't want them. They definitely want them because they want the attention. They want them. And it's revenge, don't see it. So, MSP, or Munchausen syndrome, by proxy. I'm doing the by proxy. By proxy is they are not there. That's the by proxy part. So the Munchausen syndrome is wanting attention for you. But the by proxy, those are the people that say they have cancer and they don't. Things are going on in their life and it's not true, and they get sympathy from it. That's Munchausen syndrome. So I'm on the by proxy. So the Munchausen syndrome by proxy, the MSP, is a relatively rare behavioral disorder. It affects a primary caretaker, often the mother. The person with MSP gains attention by seeking medical help for exaggerated or made-up symptoms of a child in their care. As healthcare providers strive to identify what's causing the child's symptoms, the deliberate actions of the parent or caretaker can often make the symptoms worse. So they just do it. And they sit at that bedside and just, some lady, she was convicted. She was recently convicted because she kept adding salt to the child's I don't know if it's a feeding tube or the IV, or she kept giving him salt, and he ended up dying. And then there are other cases where I've seen where the mom, this little girl had everything wrong with her. Everything was wrong with her. And the mother was right there. The media, the photo shoots, the Make-A-Wish people, all that stuff. And this girl, there was nothing wrong with her. She had glasses. Her teeth were not, she had this contraption in her mouth, wheelchair, a walker. There was nothing wrong with this girl. And she subsequently murdered her mother. Wow, that's a whole other story. It's out there. So she grew up. She realized nothing was wrong with her. My mom just duped me out of my whole life. She got a boyfriend. Her and the boyfriend conspired to kill the mother, and they did. And that's a whole other thing. Snap. It was on Snapped and everything. So anyway, Why people kill their kids. Let me stay on focus. Because who wants to listen to this anyway? But me. But psychiatrists. So the Journal of Clinical Psychiatry, in its title Child Murder and Mental Illness in Parents, Implications for Psychiatrists. So Susan Hatters, Hatters, Friedman, MD, and Philip Jake Resnick, MD, they talk about filicide. In the definition, studies have used different sample types and definitions of filicide, and many studies have been fraught with methodological problems. Let me narrow this down because I like to go off the cuff. So, it says parents kill their children for 5 major reasons: fatal maltreatment, altruistic, acutely psychotic, unwanted child, and spouse revenge. So that's what I said earlier. And it goes into that. The relative risk was higher when the mother had previously been hospitalized rather than the father. Children whose mother were diagnosed with schizophrenic or mood disorders were at higher risk than those mothers had other psychiatric diagnoses. Children under age 5 had the highest relative risk associated with maternal mental disorders. Younger children may be more likely to be at home during the day with the mentally ill mother rather than at school as an older child would be. So, gosh, I can't remember her name. I think I can grab it here. This happens a lot. And I don't want to throw this lady's name out here, but she had like 6 children, and there was previous history of mental illness. The dad said it. He stuck by her. And when you're pregnant, you can't take your psychotropic medication. You just can't. So a lot of times, excuse the flipping, sorry. A lot of times, mothers, they can't take their medicine while they're carrying their children. So sometimes they may decompensate, mentally. So that's what this lady did. There's a couple of women's names in my mind. I don't want to throw something out there, but yeah, she drowned them. I think it was 6 of them, and laid them all out in the living room in a row. And she said that she was helping. That's that altruism. She wanted to help them get it wasn't right here, or maybe they were demonic, or maybe this world wasn't right or something like that, but she wanted to help them. She wanted to save them. Back to Wikipedia. Well, it goes into children at risk. I just talked about children at risk. In 2013 in the U.S., homicide was in the top 5 causes of death of children and in the top 3 causes of death in children between 1 and 4 years old. A direct correlation has been identified between child abuse rates and child homicide rates. Research suggests that children who are murdered by their parents were physically abused victims prior to their deaths. Yeah, like I said back with the abuse and neglect, sometimes it goes on so long, the child can't take it anymore. Another thing I want to touch on is a lot of times when mothers and when parents say, listen, typically women, when women say, listen, Your Honor, I do not trust this person. I do not want them around this person. I'm talking about a case I saw in the news where the mother was practically begging the judge, saying, I please, can I have supervised visits? I need supervised visits. Excuse me. And the judge did not grant supervised visits. Dad was able to take the little child. They had some schedule put in place. So apparently he went for his visit and tossed the baby in the river, and she was strapped in her car seat. That's how they found her. So what I'm getting at is that sometimes this goes to the spousal revenge, or if it's a partner or whatever, but they want to hurt you so bad that they will hurt the thing that is closest to you, that they know. It could be your mother, it could be anybody, but I'm just saying, we're talking about children. And that's how that is, like, it's unbelievable. There was another case I followed, watched the whole trial. I don't know where she was from, but she allowed a boyfriend she was dating in prison to be paroled to her home, and she had two of her own, and then when he got paroled to her home, they had two, so it was a total of four. Now, mind you, he was in jail for trying to kill the first woman he had kids with. And she was aware of this. So he was paroled to her home, and she was aware of this. I read the article. She was aware. Oh, and I saw the trial. And she stood up and did a victim statement to him. He was paroled to her home. He killed her two. And then their two, he put them in the garage with the exhaust pipe with the CO2. And he did the other two that way. So the mom got up there. She seemed really stoic, and she appeared to be strong, and she said what she had to say. And I think we need to be more careful as parents as to be careful. If he getting paroled, he don't gotta come to your house with your kids. Okay, anyway, moving forward, back to why people kill their kids. Okay. This might be a short one because I'm on. Okay, sorry, lost myself. But I'm back on Freezer Mom from Detroit. So, 13-year-old Stony and 9-year-old Steven. Her crime was discovered when she was evicted from her apartment and people showed up to move her belongings onto the curb. Someone opened the freezer and discovered the frozen plastic-wrapped bodies of Stony and Steven. And if that wasn't bad enough, Blair showed no remorse and even told the court she would do it all over again if she had the chance. Well, that's what I said. According to Blair's testimony during several court hearings, she claimed that the reason she killed the two children was that they were sexually assaulting her youngest son. But since Blair admitted that she had never personally witnessed any of the alleged assaults and had never reported them to authorities, there's no official record of the events. In addition, the police weren't able to find any evidence to corroborate her claims about the assaults, so it remains a mystery as to whether or not any assaults took place against the youngest child. Or if the children, or if the only children had harmed were the two whom Blair herself killed. Let me read that again. Or if the only children harmed were the two whom Blair killed herself. So when I was following this, someone in because I read comments. I like to hear what different people have to say. And somewhere in the comments, wherever I was reading this, somebody said they found it strange that the youngest child was kind of saying this is going on, this is going on. But did it really? What did the youngest child orchestrate this whole thing, but did not realize the severity that the mother would take that accusation seriously? And I'm reading right here. This is from where the Krosneck Farm, Kronzek Farm. This is December 19th, 2019, when it was published. This is an abuse neglect attorney that posted this. But right here it says it's still a mystery. It still hasn't been. So she was convicted off of what? That's going to get, I could see that turning. Because if she admitted to doing it though. So, okay. She admitted to doing it. But this thing talks about it's been a mystery whether or not, the sexual abuse took place. Back to the person in the comment section. What if you out there, if you crazy enough to kill your own children, are you crazy enough to sit up and think of come up with a whole story in your mind, and then act on it? And I've worked with children, and sometimes children just want approval. They just want your love and approval. You could say something like, did you go burn that house down? Excuse me. Did you go burn that house down? And you got a smile on your face because you hate the neighbors anyway. Hey, tink tink. Did you do that? Tink tink, like, uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah, okay. Tink tink, like, yeah. How you like me now? Yeah. No. So we don't even know if that happened with the children. And I've seen many cases in my field, in my past, where the children, they say things. Okay? All right. Oh, how are they doing now? But as for the two children who survived, how are they doing? So like I said, there was the youngest, and I think there was an oldest that was never there anyway. So let me see. The court determined Blair's parental rights, not that she would ever have an opportunity to parent her remaining children again. She will be serving out the remainder of her life in prison with no possibility for parole. However, the two children, an unnamed 10-year-old and a 19-year-old girl, were sent to live with their maternal aunt and uncle. Blair actually expressed a wish for the aunt to care for the children because she was a retired child abuse investigator with Detroit police and had expressed concern for the children in the past. Blair said the aunt would care for them properly so that they don't turn out like me! Exclamation point. See, we don't know. We really don't know. Both kids have made progress and are doing well in life. According to court documents, both children were put into therapy in the wake of their mother's arrest and their rescue. The young boy, who was adopted by his new forever family, while the oldest girl went on to graduate high school and attend college. She also moved out of her aunt's home and into an independent living facility. Wayne County Circuit Judge Edward Joseph, who oversaw the children's court-ordered care, said that both children overcame the majority of the setbacks they encountered in the case. Quote, they both definitely exceeded expectations, unquote. So, next piece real quick. Children are affected by trauma, but they can heal and move on. Abuse and neglect are extremely traumatic for children and can have a lifelong effect. But Children are also resilient and can overcome tragedies and trauma if they have the right help. So, if someone, including a spouse or a partner, has harmed your kid in any way, please take heart in knowing they can still recover. They can recover with love, support, therapy, consistent care. It takes a lot. So it just goes in. So, it goes into if someone is harming a child, there's a number provided. I'm not going to say the number. Google it. Call 311. The resources are out there if you feel like someone is being harmed. So that's Michelle Blair from Detroit, Michigan, the freezer mom. So that's it. The Munchausen by proxy, talked about that. Just the whole reasons why people kill their kids. Please, children are blessings from God. People say that. I believe it. And if you find yourself in a situation, there are a lot of resources out there. Safe havens. You can go. Different states have different safe havens where you can just drop the baby off, no questions asked. Different fire houses and different hospitals have programs set up. But I remember when this first came out, I cannot get the year, but when that safe haven law first came out, they had to revamp it because people were coming from whatever state it started in. I can't remember what state it started in, but people were driving across country to drop their kids off, like 14, 15, 16, 17, stuff like that. So they had to revamp that program and say, listen, 0 to 2, because we talked about this at work and we looked it up and discussed it. But now it's 0 to 2. I think they put an age cap on it because people were trying to drop their older children off. Like, okay, you're going to take them? Take them. You're going to take her? Take her. I'm done. All right. So there are many resources out there where you won't be penalized. And don't hurt your kid. I didn't get into postpartum stress disorder. When I was in my 20s, I ran across an article in Essence where they were talking about post-traumatic stress disorder. Postpartum, excuse me. I'm still thinking PTSD, but postpartum pregnancy. Postpartum is not talked about in the Black community. I'm not really sure about other communities, but Essence did an article about postpartum depression, and women of color go through it, but we don't talk about it because we want to be strong. We feel responsible for the family. We don't want to look like a failure. And we have this newborn baby because it comes, your hormones change and different things. I'm not getting into it right now, but we all, I'm sure, have heard of it, and we can do our own research. But it was just talking about different things that we can do, different screenings that should be done to catch it, and sometimes women won't tell anybody. And be real quiet about it. Like, you know what? I don't, having ill feelings about the child. So it's important to have a strong support system around you, people around you. Some people don't. That's the problem. Some people don't. So anyway, so I think I'm going to wrap this up here. I'm at 49. 1 hour is my goal, but I'll settle for 50 minutes because I started out with 50 minutes. Okay, once again, my name is Erica LaShawn. Thanks for stopping by. I might do another one because it's early. Still, I'm off today. I'm excited about going to the grocery store. I'm one of those. I like to go. Some people may not. I like New Year's Eve, Christmas Eve, Thanksgiving Eve, like the rush. I don't know, I like the rush. But Labor Day is on Monday, September 5th. So I'm gonna whip up a little something just because. And That's it. Please like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for stopping by. My name is Erica LaShawn. Please have a nice day. 3, 2, 1. Okay. Trying to get to 50. Thank you. Talk to you soon. Bye.